What if everything you thought you knew about Tom Brady's rise to greatness was missing one of the most important chapters? For decades, fans have celebrated his Super Bowl victories, his fierce competitiveness at Gillette Stadium, and his leadership both in New England and later in Tampa Bay. But behind the iconic number 12 jersey, behind the Lombardi trophies and the unforgettable comebacks, there was something much deeper, something he didn't even know himself. This is the story of a secret kept for years by the woman who raised him, shaped him, and stood by him in the brightest and darkest moments of his life. His mother, Galen Brady. A secret that would ultimately test Tom's understanding of family, resilience, and what truly matters beyond the game. For many of us, Tom Brady represents the pinnacle of success. A man who defied expectations after being drafted 199th overall, a quarterback who redefined what longevity and excellence mean in the NFL. From the roaring crowds at Michigan Stadium to the confetti showers after his 7th Super Bowl ring in Tampa Bay, his journey has been dissected, analyzed, and mythologized. But what few know is that there was a hidden narrative quietly unfolding off the field. A truth that, when finally revealed, moved Tom Brady to take an action so profound that it resonated far beyond the world of sports. It's a story of love, sacrifice, and the power of forgiveness. And it may just change how you see Tom Brady forever. Stay with us until the very end, because what you're about to hear is more than just a story about football. It's a testament to the human spirit, to the bonds of family, and to the choices that define who we are. Before the world knew him as the greatest quarterback of all time, Tom Brady was just a kid growing up in San Mateo, California, in a close-knit middle-class family. His parents, Tom Sr. and Galen Brady, instilled in him values that would carry him through every triumph and setback: humility, discipline, and resilience. From a young age, Tom gravitated towards sports, idolizing Joe Montana and dreaming of one day leading a team down the field in a high-stakes game. But even in these formative years, Galen carried a burden she kept hidden from her son. A personal history that, if revealed, could reshape how Tom saw not only her but also himself. For now, though, all Tom knew was the unwavering support of a mother who showed up to every game, rain or shine, and who celebrated his victories as fiercely as she comforted him in defeat. As Tom's athletic prowess developed, especially in high school, the Brady household became a hub of activity and pride. College scouts took notice, but despite his talents, Tom was far from a top recruit. The University of Michigan eventually offered him a spot, not as a starter, but buried deep on the depth chart. Still, Galen encouraged him to persevere, reminding him that success wasn't about where you started, but how you finished. What Tom couldn't have known was that this message wasn't just motherly advice. It was rooted in Galen's own life experience, a past shaped by difficult choices, private sacrifices, and ultimately, a secret she felt she had to keep to protect her family. At Michigan, Tom's resolve was tested repeatedly. For years, he fought for playing time, watching others start ahead of him. But every setback only seemed to make him more determined, a trait he attributed to the quiet strength he saw in his mother. He had no idea just how much strength she had summoned throughout her own life. These early struggles molded Tom into the competitor who would one day shock the world. Yet even as he began building his legacy, a hidden piece of his family's story remained locked away, waiting for the moment when the truth would finally surface. When Tom Brady was drafted by the New England Patriots in 2000, famously at pick number 199, few believed he would ever amount to much in the NFL. But in the Brady household, there was no doubt. Galen and Tom Sr. had always instilled in their son the belief that being overlooked wasn't a curse. It was a challenge. And Tom took that challenge to heart. As Tom began his professional career, working tirelessly behind Drew Bledsoe on the Patriots roster, Galen watched proudly from afar. She attended games at the iconic Gillette Stadium, bundled up against the frigid New England winters, her cheers lost in the sea of thousands of fans. But as her son's career took off, so too did her private struggle. Unbeknownst to Tom, Galen had been quietly managing health issues for years. She masked her fatigue behind warm smiles and endless support. She never wanted her son to worry, especially as he navigated the pressures of the NFL, the intense scrutiny of the media, and the weight of proving himself worthy of the league's highest stages. When Tom led the Patriots to an improbable Super Bowl victory in 2002, becoming the youngest quarterback at the time to win the title, Gallon was there, her voice hoarse from cheering, her heart full, yet her secret intact. For Gallon, watching her son's meteoric rise was a source of indescribable joy, but also of bittersweet reflection. She had made choices long ago that she believed were necessary, and she resolved that Tom's success should never be burdened by her past. Meanwhile, Tom was becoming not just a star, but a symbol of perseverance, of clutch performance, of leadership under pressure. The Boston faithful embraced him as one of their own, and the city became synonymous with his name. From the duck boat parades through downtown Boston to the roaring crowds at Gillette, Tom had elevated himself into a living legend. Yet even in these moments of celebration, Galen's secret remained. She feared that revealing it could alter the dynamic they cherished, one built on unconditional love and mutual respect. So she kept it to herself, focusing instead on supporting her son's career, while quietly navigating her own private battles. Tom, for his part, continued to push forward, unaware of how much his mother had shielded him from. But life has a way of eventually bringing all truths to light, even those hidden for decades. By the mid-2010s, Tom Brady's legacy was already cemented. Multiple Super Bowl rings, MVP awards, and an unshakable place in NFL history. But just as the world marveled at his longevity and peak performance in his late 30s, a devastating reality unfolded behind closed doors. Gallon Brady was diagnosed with breast cancer. The diagnosis rocked the Brady family. For years, Galen had quietly managed minor health issues, but this was different. It was aggressive, requiring months of chemotherapy and radiation. Tom was devastated, but true to her nature, Gallon insisted he focus on football, on his team, and on being the leader New England needed. Yet for Tom, every snap, every pass, every touchdown during that period carried an added emotional weight. He was no longer just playing for championships, he was playing for his mom's life. The 2016 NFL season became emblematic of this personal battle. Even as he faced his own professional turmoil, the infamous Deflategate suspension that sidelined him for 4 games, Tom remained steadfast, channeling his anguish and determination into one of the most remarkable seasons of his career. That year culminated in what is often regarded as the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history. Super Bowl LI against the Atlanta Falcons. Down 28-3 in the third quarter, Tom orchestrated an extraordinary rally, leading the Patriots to an overtime victory. Amid the confetti and celebration at Houston's NRG Stadium, Tom sought out the most important person in his life, his mother. Gallon, weakened from her treatments, had mustered the strength to attend the game. The image of Tom embracing her on the field became an indelible symbol of resilience, love, and the sacrifices both had made in their respective battles. But even in that moment of public triumph, Galen held tightly to her long-kept secret, uncertain if it would ever be the right time to reveal it. For Tom, this period was transformative. It reminded him that no amount of professional success could ever match the importance of family. Little did he know, the most personal revelation of all still awaited him, one that would test his understanding of his own family history and push him to an even deeper reflection. It wasn't until after Galen's cancer went into remission that she finally gathered the courage to share the secret she had carried for so long. One quiet afternoon at the Brady family home in San Mateo, far from the roar of stadium crowds and media spotlights, Galen sat down with her son and revealed a chapter of her life she had kept hidden. Years before Tom was born, Galen had a child, a daughter, whom she had given up for adoption. It was a decision made in a time when societal pressures and personal circumstances left her feeling she had no other option. The choice had haunted her for decades, and though she built a beautiful life with Tom Sr. and their 4 children, the memory of that decision never faded. Tom sat in stunned silence, struggling to reconcile the image of the mother he had always known with the woman now telling him about a sibling he never knew existed. His heart ached not out of anger, but out of empathy. For the young woman his mother had been, forced to make an impossible choice, and for the pain she had endured alone all these years. Gallen's voice trembled as she explained her fears of judgment, of disrupting the family's bond, and of burdening Tom with a truth that could change how he saw her. But what she hadn't anticipated was her son's response. Tom reached out, took her hand, and assured her that her past didn't diminish who she was. It only deepened his admiration for her strength and sacrifice. This conversation marked a profound shift in their relationship. For Tom, it was a moment of revelation that transcended all his professional achievements. It reminded him of the complexities of life, the hidden struggles that so many endure in silence, and the grace required to meet them with compassion. But the story didn't end there. For Tom, knowing he had a sister somewhere in the world ignited a new and deeply personal mission, one that would soon unfold in a way that would touch countless lives. After the initial shock of his mother's revelation subsided, Tom Brady found himself grappling with a new reality. He had a sister he had never known. For a man who had always cherished the importance of family, this truth stirred a profound sense of curiosity and responsibility. Tom wasn't content to let this knowledge remain just a quiet family secret. Instead, he resolved to try to find her. With Galen's blessing and support from the entire Brady family, Tom embarked on a discreet but determined search. It wasn't about making headlines or creating a media spectacle. It was about connection, about honoring the life his mother had given and the family he now knew was incomplete. The search wasn't easy. Adoption records from decades ago are often sealed, and privacy laws complicated the process. But Tom applied the same persistence that had defined his football career, the relentless pursuit of what others might see as impossible. In between practices with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, meetings and games at Raymond James Stadium, Tom quietly worked with professionals who specialized in reunions like this, piecing together fragments of information. Gallen, though anxious, supported every step of the journey. For her, this was both a long-held hope and a deeply personal reckoning. The possibility of healing a part of her past that had remained unresolved for so long. After months of effort, the search led to a breakthrough. Tom's sister, named Emily, had been raised in the Midwest, living a fulfilling life with a family of her own, completely unaware of her biological connection to one of the most famous athletes in the world. The moment Tom saw her photograph for the first time, he was overwhelmed by emotion. The resemblance to his mother was unmistakable. Reaching out was the next step, and Tom approached it with the same humility and sensitivity that had always defined his off-field demeanor. A letter was sent first, expressing not just the facts of their connection, but the heartfelt desire to know her, to understand her story, and to share the story of the woman who had brought them both into the world. What happened next would lead to one of the most emotional and inspiring moments of Tom Brady's life, a meeting that transcended fame, sport, and time. The day finally arrived. In a quiet, private setting far from the glare of cameras and public scrutiny, Tom Brady met Emily for the first time. It was a moment charged with anticipation, nervousness, and profound emotion. For Tom, this was not about celebrity or legacy. It was about meeting a sister who had been part of his life in spirit, though absent in form for over 4 decades. When they embraced, words initially failed them. There was something both surreal and deeply grounding about the encounter. Tom saw reflections of his mother in Emily's eyes, her smile, and even in the quiet strength with which she carried herself. Emily, for her part, was equally overwhelmed, not just by the discovery of a brother she never knew, but by the extraordinary man he had become. They spent hours talking, sharing stories of their respective upbringings, their families, their dreams, and challenges. Emily revealed that she had always wondered about her birth parents, but had never actively searched, unsure of what she might find. The revelation that her biological family included one of the most revered figures in American sports was as astonishing as it was heartwarming. For Tom, the reunion wasn't about filling a void, but about expanding his understanding of family. He introduced Emily to Gallen in an emotional meeting filled with tears, forgiveness, and healing. Gallen apologized for the pain she had carried and for the years lost, but Emily reassured her. The life she had been given was full, and now this new connection only enriched it further. The experience transformed Tom in ways he hadn't anticipated. It reminded him that life's most meaningful victories often occur not under stadium lights, but in quiet, intimate moments of truth and connection. This reunion reaffirmed his belief in the power of love, resilience, and the capacity for new beginnings at any stage of life. But Tom wasn't done yet. He realized that their story could inspire others, and he was ready to take one final step that would share their journey with the world. In the months following their reunion, Tom Brady quietly reflected on whether to share this deeply personal story publicly. Ultimately, he chose to do so, not for attention, but to emphasize a message of compassion, forgiveness, and the enduring strength of family ties. In an emotional interview, Tom spoke candidly about his mother's courage, his sister's grace, and the profound lessons he had learned through the experience. He highlighted the importance of empathy, of understanding that everyone carries hidden struggles, and that even the most celebrated lives are shaped by quiet, unseen battles. The public response was overwhelming. Fans across the country, from Boston to Tampa Bay and beyond, expressed admiration not just for Tom's athletic achievements, but for his vulnerability and authenticity. For many, it was a reminder that heroism isn't limited to the gridiron. It's also found in the willingness to confront painful truths and to embrace those we love without conditions. By sharing this chapter of his life, Tom Brady once again inspired millions, proving that his greatest legacy may not be measured in championships, but in his capacity for empathy and personal growth. Tom Brady's journey has always been defined by resilience, discipline, and the pursuit of greatness. But this chapter of his life, a chapter hidden from the public for so many years, revealed something even more profound: that true strength often comes not from physical prowess or professional accolades, but from the courage to confront personal truths with compassion and grace. From the fields of San Mateo to the towering stands of Gillette Stadium and the sun-drenched arenas of Tampa Bay, Tom's life has been an open book, celebrated and scrutinized. Yet, it was in the quiet moments, embracing his mother after her health battles, reaching out to a sister he had never known, and sharing their story with the world, that Tom demonstrated the depth of his character. His story reminds us that behind every public triumph, there are private struggles. It teaches us about the power of forgiveness, the importance of family, and the enduring impact of love. What do you think was Tom Brady's most defining moment? Was it one of his 7 Super Bowl victories, or was it this deeply personal journey that redefined what legacy truly means? If this story touched your heart, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a reminder of the incredible strength found in vulnerability. And stay tuned. In our next video, we'll explore another incredible story that proves how resilience can change everything.